Greetings everyone, and welcome to my review of Boom Studios' Mega Man Fully Charged Issue 1. This is actually the beginning of a 6-issue miniseries that is a continuation of the animated series that aired on Cartoon Network from 2018 to 2019, before it was cancelled. Confession time, I never watched the animated series. 1, because I don't watch regular television anymore, and 2, the initial plot synopsis and character designs made me tilt my head a bit. Fully Charged is a radical departure from familiar Mega Man lore, not as radical as, say, the Battle Network franchise, as this continuity, just like the ones from the games, has a robot named Mega Man built by Dr. Light fighting other robots. Here's what's different from what you're familiar with. If you know all about this series and want to skip ahead to the actual review, here's the time code. And there will be spoilers from here on out. Fully Charged takes place in Silicon City, a place where humans and robots live in peace. The main protagonist is Aki Light, an advanced robot built by Dr. Thomas Light to be the latter's son. As Aki, he's living the normal life of a kid, including going to school where he's friends with students, including a boy named Bert Wiley. However, when there's trouble in the city, Aki transforms into the superhero persona Mega Man. This reminds me of the Dreamwave Mega Man comics. This version of the Blue Bomber has a sidekick named Mega Mini that serves as the hero's mechanic and literal voice in his head. Seriously, he operates inside Aki's head. That's a bit weird. He's also the one responsible for transforming Aki into Mega Man. Mega Man, or rather Aki, has additional help in the form of Dr. Light, who, like his main series counterpart, believes in peaceful coexistence between humans and robots, though he has seen some tough times and has the scars to prove it. I'll explain that in a bit. Another member of the family is Light's human daughter Suna. Yes, in this continuity, Light has a human child. She is a genius like her father and is not afraid to get her hands dirty to help him and her robo-brother. Then there's Rush, a robotic dog that resembled a real dog until an incident with the main villain led him to be upgraded, which included armor resembling his main series counterpart. Speaking of the villain, our main antagonist for the series is an original character named Sergeant Breaker Knight. He appears to be against robots due to his experience during the tough times, a conflict between humans and robots known as the Hard Age. It happened prior to the series if you're wondering. Well, it turns out Sergeant Knight is a massive hypocrite. And I'm not referring to the fact that he has a robotic arm. While he orchestrates all of these anti-robot rallies, he's secretly the one behind attacks caused by rogue robots, aka the Robot Masters. Most of these Robot Masters are reimagined versions of their game counterparts, while others were originals to the series. Back to Sergeant Knight. Like Aki, he has a double identity. In this case, he becomes Lord Obsidian, a robot supremacist whose goal is to remove humanity from Silicon City. While his goal seems to be wanting to start a new human-robot war, Knight/Obsidian's true goal is to use an item called the Mega Key to enslave the robots. By the end of the series, his plans were exposed to the public, and he was arrested. Working alongside Sergeant Knight/Lord Obsidian is a robot named Namajim. He made his debut about halfway through the series in the episode Lightfall Part 2. While he serves as the main villain's enforcer, there is more to Namajim than meets the eye. At the end of the series, it's revealed that Namajim is the twin brother of Aki. He was stolen from Light near the end of the Hard Age and raised as Knight's son. The revelation of Knight's true plans caused Namajim to turn against him, and despite learning about his true origins, his jealousy of his brother's upbringing caused him to reject his chance to rejoin the Light family. By the end of the series, he took off swearing revenge. In that sense, he's pretty much an amalgamation of Proto Man and Bass. Also, take a look at his name. Take a good look at his name. Notice anything? I'll go ahead and tell you. It's Mega Man spelled backwards! It's probably their way to further connect him and Aki. There are other things I could cover, like how this Mega Man has a copy ability that's limited, but I've gone on too long. However, I will say this about Mega Man's secret identity. Throughout the series, very few people know that Aki and Mega Man are one and the same. That includes Mega Mini and Suna. They apparently even kept the secret from Dr. Light, which is at first odd considering Light built Aki in the first place. Then it's revealed near the end of the series, Light knew Aki and Mega Man were the same person. It turns out he's erased Aki's memory of certain things. Why would he do that unless he has something to hide? This intro has gone on long enough. I think it's time we actually dive into the first issue. We begin sometime after the events of the series with Namajim, in human form, walking the streets of Silicon City. Thanks to a combination of Aki's narration and the news broadcast on the building monitors, we learn that despite Sergeant Knight's arrest, robot masters are still causing trouble. They're even building an army at a location called Section 33. So the authorities are sending someone to negotiate with them. That someone is, of course, Dr. Light. We see him and members of the Good Guild, the aforementioned authorities, arrive at Section 33 to meet with the leader of this army. Correction, Dr. Light will enter alone. He's cuffed and on his knees in front of the robot master in charge. This universe's Skullman. Skullman is not in the mood to negotiate. In fact, the reason he has Light brought before him is to make an example to the world that robot masters do not negotiate. Light has anticipated this and activates a signal hidden in his arm. Just before Skullman executes Light, Megaman makes his timely arrival. He offers the robots a chance to surrender. They refuse, so Megaman proceeds to give them a beatdown. Skullman, it seems, has plans of his own for Megaman. He pines the Bloom Bomber down and jabs something into his head. Something that will remind Megaman of the Hard Age, in order to prepare for the future. Megaman and the readers are treated to these visions of a heavily armed version of himself fighting robots alongside Dr. Light in power armor. Of course, this could be Megaman utilizing his copy ability. Like in Mega Man 11, he takes on some physical characteristics of robot masters when he uses their powers. And here he's utilizing a weapon that uses a lot of missiles. It's kinda hard to tell. Speaking of a fighting Light, he physically takes on Skullman to stop him from hurting his son. That's pretty impressive, Light, but you're still going up against a robot. To be fair, the last time Light fought against a robot master, he had a blaster. Still, A for effort. Rush flies in and knocks down Skullman long enough for our heroes to escape. It doesn't matter to Skullman since he's claimed victory over Mega Man's mind and will soon win this new war. On their way home, Mega Man questions the vision Skullman gave him, only for Light to dodge the question. Also, Skullman poking around caused Mega Mini to not feel so good. When they get home, Light goes to take a look at him while telling Aki and Suna, who's awake, to head for bed. Aki, back in human form, confides in his sister about Skullman's head jabbing and his frustration about Light not telling him anything regarding the Hard Age. Suna has an answer for the second problem. Talk to someone else who knows about that era. Someone named Dr. Wily. The issue ends with Namajim outside, declaring that Aki doesn't know what's coming, while changing into his Mega Man-esque armor. Since this miniseries is written by A.J. Marcello and Marcus Reinhardt, two of the people behind the animated series, I wonder if this is the direction the cartoon would have gone had it not been cancelled, diving more into the Hard Age and Light's involvement during that period. Based on hints during the conversation with Skullman and not answering Aki's questions about it, something tells me Light did some unpleasant things during that time he would rather forget. Speaking of forgetting, the issue addresses one of the things brought up near the end of the cartoon, Light erasing some of Mega Man's memory. Skullman, if he's to be believed, revealed why Light would do this. Based on these memory flashes, I would guess Light originally built Aki and Namajim to be super fighting robots to help the humans. Light might have realized he had gone too far, and at the end of the Hard Age, that is, sometime after Sergeant Knight stole Namajim, he reprogrammed Aki to be his peaceful son, while keeping some unconscious directive to reactivate his Mega Man side if Robot Masters were causing trouble again, possibly courtesy of Mega Mini. Of course, that's speculation, and the miniseries may reveal something different. We'll have to see. The issue reveals that a Dr. Wily does exist in the fully charged universe, and there's a good chance he's related to Aki and Suna's friend, Bert. But what role will he play in this story? Since he's another expert regarding the Hard Age, how is he involved? Is he even the villain? I mean, come on. 9 times out of 10, if Dr. Wily is involved, it means he's doing something bad. I don't want to jump the gun on this, but is he the one ultimately responsible for the Hard Age? The biggest evidence for this theory is the leader of the robot army, Skullman. And what is Wily's best known motif in the series? Before you say anything, I know in the original games, Dr. Cossack built Skullman to fight Mega Man, but that was back when he was forced to work for Wily while the latter kidnapped his daughter. And who's to say that Wily suggested the idea of a Skullman in the first place? Plus, this is a different continuity. Wily may have built this version of Skullman for all we know. Or perhaps this version of Wily is completely innocent. Again, we have 5 more issues to see what direction this goes. The best description for this art is, if the style from the cartoon series were given a dose of realism, giving it a bit of a manga style. All I can say is, it's okay. Personally, I would have preferred if the style were based on this cover here, but it is what it is. Final thoughts. For someone who only knows of the cartoon through research, I'm actually curious about where this is going. About Dr. Light and Mega Man's role during the Hard Age, and how Dr. Wily fits into all this. That said, it is not recommended that you go in completely blind. This was made for those who were familiar with the cartoon in some manner. At the very least, you need to know who's who, and know a little about what the Hard Age was. Overall, a decent start. Yeesh, talk about a literal mind screw.